What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the new album from the band Dying Fetus, entitled Wrong One to Fuck With. This is released on Relapse Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they are based out of Baltimore, Maryland, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very brash, technical, violent style of brutal death metal. Yeah. It's very crazy to know that this band has been an institution for almost 25 plus years now. This band has really come a long way from their earlier sounds to the way they are now, and I would honestly say that a band like Dying Fetus are one of the big ones when it comes to contemporary death metal, in terms of their popularity, in terms of their ability to play live shows and do consistent hard work, and for just overall being a very influential band, influential in their lyrics, influential in their music, just overall creating some very memorable music. I mean, I've been a big follower of this band ever since their early years with Jason Netherton in the band. Of course, albums like Killing on Adrenaline, Destroy the Opposition, to later stuff like the Grotesque Impalement EP, which is still my favorite thing Dying Fetus has ever done, to the shift change in their style and dynamics, adding a little bit more technical fluidity into their music with the guitar riffs, the more wild and chaotic drum styles, the change in lyrical content to fit a more epidemic of political climates, to later releases like the last couple of full-lengths like Descend into Depravity and Reign Supreme, where we get a little bit more of an in-your-face, violent, ass-beating sort of style with their brand of death metal. And I've been big on this band ever since, especially mentioning the last two releases, the current trio of how the band is nowadays. It's just really sensational. But yeah, the last time we had heard a full length from Dying Fetus was back in 2012 with Reign Supreme, but now, 5 years later, we have the 8th full length from Dying Fetus entitled Wrong One to Fuck With. And from the minute I saw the album cover, to the album name, to the return of their classic logo from the early 90s, there was just a lot of things to contemplate and think about. Like, what does this all mean? Were they going to do a return to their old sound? Were they going to incorporate their current sound with elements from their older material? I mean, regardless of how you feel about the album name, the way everything was presented, it got the job done. It got the job done. It got people talking. It got people hyped up. You had the band's name in your mouth, regardless of whether you like them or not. And now here we are with the 8th full length from Dying Fetus entitled Wrong One to Fuck With. It's 10 tracks and it clocks in at around 46 minutes in length, and this is probably one of the lengthier Dying Fetus records I've listened to in recent memory, because, as per usual for Dying Fetus records, some of these songs are very lengthy, very methodical, and very well crafted. But listening to Wrong One to Fuck With, I definitely get the vibes and feelings of past Dying Fetus releases going back to the early 2000s era of the band, with just a little bit of the pomp and circumstance of their current era, which is a very refreshing thing to hear. And honestly, the minute you hear the opening fretboard wizardry on Fixated on Devastation, to songs like Die With Integrity, to Seething with Disdain, you get the feeling that you know why Dying Fetus have been doing this for as long as they have. They are such gifted and such talented musicians. I mean, John Gallagher is a multifaceted sort of person, not only for the fact that he has an amazing vocal range, but for also being an amazing guitar player. And here throughout the 10 tracks on this full-length album, he showcases why he is such a genius songwriter and an artist with his guitar playing. His solos, his style, his technicality, it just sounds wonderful, especially on the track Seething with Disdain and Ideological Subjugation. Holy shit. Listening to the guitar work on those two songs alone is just so breathtaking and mesmerizing. I really appreciate the mastery and the skill that he brings forward with those riffs on those songs. It's just so memorable. it just gets stuck in your head right away. And the riffs, the solos, the more punishing breakdown sort of parts in certain songs where the riffs begin to get a little bit slower, it's definitely mosh pit worthy, pit riff heavy stuff, and that's what I love so much about this album. The bass work is very good too. This is mainly a guitar driven sort of record, but once you hear Sean Beasley do his bass work, which he is definitely amazing at doing, he definitely does wonders here with the bass tone. It's definitely a nice underlying theme for the heaviness that is John Gallagher's guitar tone. Yeah. Moving on to the drums, it's pretty much the standard normal Dying Fetus sort of drum performance. Very, very Tommyknocker-like double bass, a lot of rowdy fills, a lot of great technicality with this drum performance. Trey Williams has always been a badass drummer ever since I first heard him on the Descend into Depravity record, but I feel with each Dying Fetus record he appears on, he seems to get the hang of things a lot better and a lot smoother. Of course, this is a drum performance that is very cleanly, very well polished. He's one of those types of drummers that definitely relies on a drum performance to be clean and spotless. And I feel with on Wrong One to Fuck With, he delivers a very sturdy and solid drum performance, especially for some of the more methodical, lengthier tracks on here, like on Reveling in the Abyss and Unmitigated Detestation. Just some really, really good stamina going here with his drum performance, and it's really, really wonderful to hear him handle his business the way that it does. I'm pretty sure the drum performance may be a little bit too clean for some, but for what it's worth, I think it's solid and enjoyable all the way throughout. And when it comes to the vocals, once again, it's another standard of Dying Fetus to have the dual vocal delivery, which has been the case for the last several records since 2007. The dual vocal deliveries between Sean and John are just so phenomenal. I mean, Sean's vocals have gotten a lot more rugged and a lot more angrier sounding in recent records. And here on Wrong One to Fuck With, he really, really does wonders with his vocal style here. Of course, he's the more decipherable vocalist of the two, with John's vocals being super guttural and nasty sounding. And that's another thing to mention about John's vocal performance here. It's the usual sort of John Gallagher sort of growl going on here, but the way he's detailed, the way he words things, the way he speaks, it's just very punishing. It's very menacing and angry. And of course, with the lyrical themes this time around, it kind of picks up where Reign Supreme sort of left off, where things are a little bit more angry, a little bit more violent, very much ready to kick some ass, that sort of thing here. And I should go on record and say that when going back to the hype about this album with the album name, I really don't take too much of the criticism surrounding the album name seriously because, for one, I believe Wrong One to Fuck With is suitable for this band's current direction. It fits the theme of what Dying Fetus has been doing in recent records, and honestly, I don't really buy anybody being surprised or shocked by the album name. Of course, people tend to criticize metal being a little bit soft, but once you see an album with a profanity in the title, people go up in arms, and I'm not really buying that, so yeah, not buying it. But yeah, now that I've got those feelings out of the way, overall, this is a really sensational Dying Fetus record. This is another really wonderful album in their discography. I don't know if I like this more than I do Reign Supreme, though. But I honestly think that with this sort of direction they're taking with Wrong One to Fuck With, I think this is easily one of the more enjoyable Dying Fetus records of recent memory. So if I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Panic Amongst the Herd, Die With Integrity, the 1-2 punch of Seething with Disdain and Ideological Subjugation, and Unmitigated Detestation. Some really, really phenomenal songwriting going on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you a link in the description box as to how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will leave you a link to the Dying Fetus Bandcamp page where you can listen to this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you think it's worthy of being purchased or not. You can stream it, buy it digitally. It is available as a CD. There's also a special edition with, I'm not sure if both CD versions have the bonus track Induced Terror, but I believe that's a CD exclusive track. And of course, it is on vinyl. There are many different variations. Of course, this is the gatefold edition right here with the artwork in big bold detailing here. Double LP, gatefold with lyrics and credits, And I have the limited version, which is limited to 300 copies on a Oxblood Red and Bone White merge. This is absolutely gorgeous, and it sounds wonderful. Very, very badass job done with this. Love the center labeling. Love the B and D sides respectively. And this band will be co-headlining the Summer Slaughter tour with the Black Dahlia Murder, because their Black Dahlia is going to be playing Nocturnal from front to back, but Dying Fetus are going to have a great set of their own. So if that happens to come anywhere near your town, definitely have interest in check it out. I know Summer Slaughter has a little bit of mixed feelings for some people, but if anything, go for Black Dahlia Murder and Dying Fetus. It'll be a fun time. So again, the album is Wrong One to Fuck With by Dying Fetus. This is released on Relapse Records. Go check this out. And for a score, I'm going to give this a very, very strong 9 out of 10. Definitely one of the more fun death metal records to come from one of the big dogs of the year. Of course, there's been a lot of great death metal releases from very big names, bands like Suffocation. Immolation still holding the high regards for me, but Dying Fetus, that'll be another one to check off on that list. So, if you happen to have heard this album, definitely let me know what you think about it, how you feel about it, and how you think it compares to previous Dying Fetus albums. Are any of you guys into Dying Fetus? Let me know. I'm gonna conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. Until next time, Army Ho out.